So hi everyone, today in this video we're gonna develop another way to hack to solve another problem that we face in our world. And the hack that we're gonna develop is making a union of the different mental models that obviously are most well applied depending on the type of problem that you're facing. So we're gonna try to face what I can call as is the digital assess in terms of the inequality that exists. So how to end the digital divide. We're gonna use seven mental models that the tech giants ignore. So it's what I could count. So what do you have to understand? We have to understand first the problem always. Because if you try to act, it's because you perceive that you need something, you need to do something. So it's probably so you are having and you're facing a problem. So what's the problem? We have the global digital exclusion. We have 3.2 billion people that lack internet access, almost half the people existent in the world. We have gender gap, 25% fewer human online in low-income countries. And we have economic costs that seems that people don't have access to information, so they don't care not having to access to a lot of information that makes it and molds the people life, and then so they not become that much of information about how the world's working, and as well other type of learnings that not the one that it exists in their culture. And then so we kind of seen that it kind of this global digital exclusion of almost half the population creates 1 trillion year loss in global GDP. So it's what we defend. But that's also applied mental models and solutions, and so mental models in our solutions to solve this problem. First, we're gonna use hysteresis, the system memory. What's the idea? The systems remember past inequalities. And so, with this being true, also is application that comes with we understanding as truth. Whereas some ones that were applied, for example, we have in Kenya, they have installed fiber optic cables along colonial railway roads. And then so it connected 5 million rural users, 80% of the cost reduction. That former colonies have 3 times fewer cell towers. So the system remember past inequality. See how this inequality is so the digital type of exclusion comes with you having so getting a specific type of position in history in the past. So we have seen that the former colonies have 3 times fewer cell towers, which so makes and obviously the position of the colony is a position of inequality. Is not like a state that has like so their own ability to rule themselves, and also seeing that how it creates a late type of development in so in the country. So we have to look for how the inequality that creates so a system that has made so did not evolve as same as the other countries that evolved to adoption of internet in masses. So understanding it is also as well to develop tolerance and not just attribution as being not being incompetent to develop. Second, preference falsification, hidden demand. What's the idea of here? People hide tech desires due to social pressure. And what's like the application of knowing it? We have in Afghanistan, the USB radios disguised as human amulets, and then so human access covert education, 5 key units distributed. What that seems to say is that 60% of rural human deny wanting internet due to fear of blacklash. So, see how the article makes it so the creation of this mental model refers falsification, people high-tech desires due to social pressure. So, if people not having access to the halls because they not have the tools, just because they think that so by adopting the tools and by being present, they can have so a specific type of backlash. So we need to work in solutions that make it so they're not facing the backlash. So protective type of ways to be that makes him feeling secure to have access. In the first application is a system that were so not developed in the past as make it so hard to develop today. So we're gonna have to stimulate. In that second type of mental model, it so sees how exists as well a problem to so using of internet, the backlash that I can expect by doing it. So to work in solutions, you have to incentivize of not existing a backlash. Could be so a way to hack. Three, Black swan theory, crisis-driven change. So what's the idea here? Unpredictable events accelerate innovation. What so is application? The Ukraine, the war destroyed 40% of towers, and then so Starlink connected to 12 million people in 6 months. Model replicated in Sudan. What's the data? Conflict zone see 300% faster adoption of alternative tech. So, certain times some events that tend to accelerate innovation. Obviously, so it's a trade-off. It can seem useful, but obviously it comes with that with war, even if it accelerates innovation because people want to go back and then so to not repeat the past, they probably have adoption of new ways so to hack. But you see, so obviously that we're not going to try to trigger it just because we want to exist in innovation. So probably we can have a shock without so requiring to make this type of event that comes bad type of bad side and has bad side effects. So but it's a pattern that you can see and so make it useful to apply in a solution. See, so home shocks accelerate innovation seem to be something that you can adopt. 4. Matthew effect. Advantage accumulation. The idea the rich get richer over time while the poor get poorer. And what's so like the reverse application of this? We have India, the digital India prioritizing connected villages in spectrum auctions. And then so 600k village online since 2020. What's the data here? 1 year of internet access boosts household income by 15%. See, so how the internet and people having access to internet contributes to GDP. It's proven by data. 5. The Gall's law. Complex systems start simple. So the idea is that smart start small and grow organically. What's the application? For example, in Brazil, the Rede Mocambos uses community radio to build mesh networks in favelas. So we have in 100k users in Rio made so by this type of way to have. What's the tactic? Tin can antennas made from scrap cost 5 versus 500 for traditional infrastructure. 6. The core effect, the perverse incentive. So what's the idea is well-meaning solutions backfire. What's like the anti-example of this is telecom subsidies that so makes the monopolies ignore rural areas. How to fix? We have example in Peru. Spectrum auctions require rural coverage first, then so providers connect the ends before Lima. And by last, the diffusion of innovation, the adoption stages. So if you want to get this innovation, the internet innovation, you have to understand the stages of the adoption. So the early adopters, the later adopters. So you have to understand and how you want you want to so pass each one of these phases to have more people using the innovation because it's good. But then you have to understand the behavior of the consumers. So that is that tech spreads through groups, and you have to understand so how to make the transition between the groups. And then so how to what's the application of knowing it? We have, for example, in Rwanda, the digital ambassadors train grandparents to teach youth. And then so the government app adoption rose 70%. The data, elders are 20% more effective than influencers in rural areas. So a takeaway that they have perceived. So integrated solutions. Obviously, it comes with now getting meta models. That seems to be important in this specific problem. They have to create integrated solutions now that we have the kind of required and got the data and the patterns that seems to be useful. So, integrated solutions, hybrid infrastructure, low orbit satellites like the Alphabet's Project Loon, more local mesh networks. Hyperlocal content like platforms like Digital Green in India, they use DLT videos to train farmers. And this, a bit of as well seems to be good decentralized finance. So the spectrum NFTs, communities by frequency rights. It's something that's piloted in Ghana. Why this works? We have seen in Rwanda 90% offline after prioritizing community networks. Project Loon has connected 300k in rural Kenya with internet balance, and obviously so the ROI everyone. So digital inclusion generates 5 in economic growth units. So obviously we just have to work in doing solutions. We have using some patterns that have us understand so how you can guide. And then so I expect this video as make you gain insights. I expect it was enough to learn, and I expected you have liked enough so to put a like, subscribe, and I hope to see you in next videos that I'm gonna try to develop. obviously feel free to see other ones, videos that already so were uploaded in this channel. So without much more to say, just thank you and see you in the next one.